What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about this 2002 Cadillac Escalade and why it's such a great used SUV. So if you're in the market for maybe an older, cheaper, reliable SUV, then this video is for you and you don't want to miss it. So let's get into it. So for those of you who don't know, this is my 2002 Cadillac Escalade. I've added a winch to the front of it, done a few other things here and there, made it a camper, converted it to a camper in the back. This SUV has been really good to me so far, knock on wood. So I bought this specific SUV for a reason, and that's because they're known to be reliable and easy to fix, cheap to fix, easy to work on. And some of you might be thinking, oh, it's a Cadillac. Cadillacs aren't easy or cheap to fix, or you know, something along those lines. But the thing about these Escalades is that they're basically just a Tahoe with a Cadillac badge, or a GMC Yukon. They're actually, the Denali Yukons are basically the exact same as this. But to just give you a little info about it, I bought this Escalade about, I don't know, maybe like 6 months ago now for $6,500. It has 170,000 miles on it, which some of you might think is a lot, but it is. But these things really are known to last. And the main reason why I bought this one specifically for the price that I did was because it spent most of its life in Florida. It was a Florida vehicle until 2016. I'm the third owner, bought off the second owner obviously. But yeah, the first owner used it a lot for camping and stuff, towing his camper. If you're looking for a used SUV, any of these older GM trucks, SUVs, are gonna do you fine. So that's the Tahoe, the Yukon, the Suburban, the Escalade. You know, I'm a big fan of all these because they either have the 5.3 liter V8 or the 6.0 liter V8. And that's what the Yukon Denali has, and this Escalade 6.0 has the 6.0 high output. And the reason why I like that actually better than the Tahoe, the regular Yukon, and the Suburban is because of the transmission that comes with it. So the transmission that comes in with the 6.0 is the 4L65. So the regular the transmission that they put in most of the trucks back then, with the 5.3 or 4.8, all those trucks, like the Tahoes, Suburbans, they all come with a 4L60 transmission. And that transmission gets a lot of crap from people, but they're still good transmissions back then, the early 2000s. That's specifically what I'm talking about in these videos in this video. So all the GM trucks from like 99 to 2006, those are my favorite, and I truly believe they're the most reliable. And that has to do a lot with the engine. In the early 2000s, the 5.3s, 6.0s, they weren't doing the active fuel management or the DOD, displacement on demand. This is before that, so I've seen a lot of these 5.3 and 6 liter engines last well over 300,000 miles. I have a few examples here on my phone I'll pull up in a minute. I recently just saw a Suburban for sale near me. It had 370,000 miles and it was all original drivetrain. Back to the transmissions. So the 4L60s that come with most of the trucks, the 5.3s, I have noticed and seen them going bad around 150,000 miles. I've seen several cases of that. So it kind of depends if you get lucky or not. If you buy a Suburban Yukon Tahoe with a 5.3, I would just watch out for the 4L60 transmission. So I would give it a good test drive, make sure it's not slipping or anything. But with those engines, the 5.3s, the early 2000 5.3s, you can't really go wrong. Those things run forever. If you change the oil consistently, and just keep up on, you know, all the little things. Make sure like your radiator is not going, or your tranny lines, or, you know, stuff like that, oil lines, then that engine will last you forever. And even more so, these 6.0s, I think they're even, you know, a better, longer lasting truck. That's what's in that truck right there. That has 190,000 on it. It drives like it's brand new still. This truck, 171,000 right now, and it drives like it's brand new. So in these SUVs with the 4L65, those transmissions are a little bit more heavy duty. So the 4L60s, I believe, have a 4-pin, and then these 4L65s, they have a 5-pin, which is just a little bit more heavy duty. It's a little bit better for torque and stuff like that. You can still definitely have a problem with this transmission, but I believe I've been seeing these last a little bit longer than the 4L60s, because they're just a little bit more heavy duty. And with this Escalade here, with 170,000 miles, you know, it drives like it's brand new. No slipping at all with the transmission. It runs and drives like perfect, literally like brand new. So I'm a big fan of this Escalade and the drivetrain behind it. That's really the main reason why I bought it. And in 2002, these Escalades were the most powerful SUV in the world. They have 345 horsepower and 380 foot-pounds of torque, which is a good bit. This thing moves for being a bigger SUV. Some of you might say that a con, it's like, oh, it might be reliable, but it has a 6.0 engine, so it's gonna get terrible gas mileage. Well, if you drive it decent, I reset this fuel gauge when I bought it, and this is how I've been driving it. Have been doing a lot of highway miles recently, so it has gone up, but I've been averaging 14 miles per gallon, which realistically isn't that bad for a big SUV. So I'm getting like right around 20 on the highway. It also has a instant fuel economy. See, right now I'm getting 0 miles per gallon because I'm just sitting here. But on the highway, I'm getting right around 20, 22 sometimes. And then if I'm driving hard in the city, I'm getting around 10, 11. So I guess it averages out to about 14. Last night, I just went on Facebook Marketplace and pulled up a few examples of Escalades that had original drivetrain. So it's, you know, original engine, original transmission. And these are the few that I found. See, this one has 290,000. Here's a 2006 with 208,000. And all these descriptions were basically saying, you know, runs, drives great. Here's the truck version. It's the exact same engine and transmission in these ones. Yeah, so this one has 276,000 miles. This one's 275. Here's a 2002 with 200. If you look, I mean, you can find a lot of examples of these things running forever. So, but it's basically like any used vehicle. I mean, if it's a rusty mess, or if you don't take care of it, if you don't change the oil or keep up on the fluids, then it's not going to be a good vehicle for you. You know, just because I believe these are longer lasting, more reliable vehicles, if you're not good to the vehicle, it's not going to be good to you. Here, I'll show you guys. This is everything that I've done to the Escalade since I bought it. The biggest thing was the front wheel hub assemblies, but I knew that those were possibly going bad when I bought it. A lot of this other stuff is just basic, like, you know, front rotors and brakes. Yeah, so a lot of this stuff wasn't even like reliability issues. I just kind of noticed something going on in the front wheel hub, the front wheels, so changed that. It was a noise. I'm not even 100% sure if that actually solved the issue or not. And then a front caliper. That's just from being 20 years old, and, you know, things eventually do start going bad. But for having this thing for, I don't know, several months now, and I put 7,000 miles on this Escalade since I bought it, and I've had literally 0 reliability issues. It starts every time, runs great. And another thing I have to say, that I have never driven a vehicle that has given me more confidence in the snow. And that has to do with the all-wheel drive system in this thing, which it's basically four-wheel drive all the time. The transfer case in this is very similar to the transfer case that are in Tahoes and Suburbans, Yukons, not the all-wheel drive versions, the actual four-wheel drive versions. The transfer case is very similar, except this transfer case in this Escalade is full time. It's always locked, it's always engaged, and it can give anywhere between 5 and I believe 40% power to the front. So I've had no issues with that so far. It's been really good to me. There's been people driving on the road, like they're very, you know, going 20, 30 miles per hour under the speed limit, and I was able to drive on the roads just fine. Now, it can be dangerous. You can't get too confident and be cocky and do crazy stuff when it's snowing. But this thing is a beast in the snow, and it gives me a lot of confidence. All right, guys, so we'll just go for a little cruise. So yeah, guys, if you're in the market for a used SUV and you come across, you know, one of these things, either an Escalade, a GMC Yukon, Chevy Tahoe, Chevy Suburban, they're really great SUVs. So I wouldn't be afraid with a higher mileage one. I mean, you can see I bought one with 165,000, 164,000, and I've had no issues so far, knock on wood. But yeah, I wouldn't be scared at all to buy one with higher miles, as long as it's not, you know, a rusty mess. That's specifically why I, you know, shopped around and waited until I found this one, because it was from Florida. And up here in PA, all the used vehicles are pretty much, if they're older, they're rusted out from being in the Rust Belt. So I specifically look for vehicles from the South that, you know, are not rusty. So that's what I got here. I got a higher mileage Escalade with no rust. And like I said, I have all the confidence in the world. I've been driving this thing a lot. You know, I've been going on a lot of hunting trips, driving it 3 hours at a time, and it hasn't let me down at all. You guys can see this Escalade handles these windy roads just fine. I've had an older Blazer and trucks and stuff, and it doesn't really handle roads quite like this Escalade. Like, this thing is so comfortable. It's very responsive, has tons of power, and yeah, just a very, very comfortable vehicle. And that's another one of my points. Like I said, that I've never had the confidence driving in the snow like I do in this vehicle. I've also never been in a vehicle that's this comfortable. So any vehicle I've ever been in, though I've gone in road trips in, after 3 hours, you know, my butt hurts. But with this thing, I think this was a big selling point for the Escalade specifically in 2002, are the seats. These seats are so comfortable, like ridiculously comfortable. Yeah, I think there's like a 27-way like power setting or something, and it's crazy. So if I'm going on a long road trip and I do start getting a little bit sore, I can just change up my seating position a little bit. You can make the bottom part go up and down, or like tilt. It's pretty cool. And for 2002, it's very, very comfortable seats. My 2014 Silverado, the seats were rock hard. They weren't comfortable at all. I would drive like 2 hours and like have to get out and walk around because it was so uncomfortable. Give you a little acceleration. That's a lot of the reasons why I bought this Escalade. And you guys comment down below if you have had any luck with these trucks, you know, with the Tahoe, Escalade, Yukon, Suburban, any one of these trucks from the early 2000s up until 2006. That's when 2007 is when they started with the next generation, and that generation had active fuel management. Not the biggest fan. But yeah, comment down below what kind of luck you've had with your early 2000 GM SUVs and trucks. To get a vehicle that's in very nice condition for right around 6,000, and like I showed you guys on them ones that were on my Facebook Marketplace, you know, they're right around 4 or 5 grand. Some of them have higher miles, but you could probably find one with around 100,000 miles for under 10 grand. So if you buy a vehicle like I did with 160,000 miles for 6 grand or 6,500, if I could get 100,000 miles out of this thing, then it's more than worth it. Just another little added feature, these things can tow a good bit. This Escalade in particular can tow 9,000 pounds, which is a good bit for an SUV. But yeah, guys, I really think these early 2000 GM SUVs are like the greatest vehicles ever made. From everything I've seen more of these trucks hit 300,000 miles than any other vehicle, except for diesels. Diesels are different. I'm talking about gas. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to share with you why I decided to choose this vehicle and why I think that they're reliable and, you know, long-lasting vehicles. Like I said, leave a comment down below letting me know your experience with these, if you've had good or bad. I want to hear about it. If you guys would do me a huge favor and drop a big thumbs up down below, that really helps out the video, helps it reach a wider audience for the YouTube algorithm, and I really appreciate it. So drop a like, guys. Thank you. Also, let me know if you think I missed anything, I didn't talk about something. I'm always looking to improve. So yeah, guys, hope you have a great day. Peace.